For more on the North Korea nuclear threat, we turn to Matthew Kroenig, a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and professor at Georgetown University. So, Matthew, North Korea claims this new missile could hit anywhere on Earth, and independent scientists confirm it could possibly reach Alaska. Explain the significance of that.
Well, hello, Elaine. It's a pleasure to be on the show. This test is very significant. It's North Korea's longest test to date. As you pointed out, it only traveled about 600 miles, but that's because North Korea tested it on a lofted trajectory, shot it high into this sky so that it didn't travel too far and minimize the diplomatic fallout. But on a normal trajectory, it could have traveled, we think, 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers, which would enable it to reach Alaska. And it's not much further than that for the 10,000 miles or so that it would need to reach New York or Washington, D.C. So North Korea is on pace to have a nuclear weapon capable of reaching the continental United States. It would only be the third country on Earth, third U.S. adversary on Earth after Russia and China to be able to threaten nuclear war against the U.S. homeland. So very significant indeed.
Well, world leaders are getting ready for the G20 summit this week. What message is Kim Jong-un trying to send by test launching this weapon now?
Well, it would be great if Kim Jong-un only tested missiles before G20 summits. Unfortunately, he tests them all the time. This is his 12th test already this year. And, you know, often when he conducts these tests, we say, well, he doesn't have the ability to reach the U.S. yet. He doesn't have the ability to miniaturize a nuclear weapon yet. He doesn't have the ability to have reentry vehicles to reenter the Earth's atmosphere yet. But I think that kind of misses the point. Practice makes perfect. With every test, they're improving their program. And so I think world leaders at the G20 summit are going to be paying close attention to this because it is a serious threat to global security.
Well, Matt, you previously served in the Department of Defense. What sort of responses might the United States be seriously considering?
Well, the Department of Defense always prepares a range of options for the president to look at. I think there are two primary ones that the United States would want to be looking at right now. One would be to be able to be sure that we can defend ourselves in the event that North Korea conducts an attack. So that would focus primarily on missile defenses, both for ourselves and our allies, to shoot down any incoming North Korean missiles. But then second, if North Korea actually uses a nuclear weapon or uses one of these missiles, we'd want to make sure that we can prevent them from doing that a second time. So I'm sure the Defense Department is preparing strike options to destroy North Korea's nuclear and missile programs before these weapons can be used.
Last week, the U.S. sanctioned a Chinese bank accused of laundering money to North Korea, and there are reports the administration is considering trade policies that could target China. How does that impact China's desire to work with the U.S. to curb North Korea's effort?
Well, Trump came into office wanting to cooperate with China, trying to get China to put pressure on North Korea. You know, 80% of North Korean trade comes from China, so putting pressure on North Korea requires Chinese help. And the administration, as many people suspected it would be, has been disappointed by what China's done so far. So what these latest moves are what experts like me have been calling for some time, so-called secondary sanctions. And so what they do is they put sanctions on the Chinese firms and the Chinese banks, specifically that are trading with North Korea, trying to force them into a difficult decision. Would you rather trade with the United States, the largest, most diverse economy on Earth, or do you want to trade with North Korea with the hope that those Chinese firms and those Chinese banks decide to cut off trade with North Korea, and that will start to increase the pressure on North Korea with the hope that it could bring them to the table and get them into talks about curbing their nuclear and missile program.
Well, Russian President Vladimir Putin hosted China's President Xi in Moscow Monday. What is Russia's role in dealing with North Korea?
Well, Russia borders North Korea, so Russia has an interest. It's played a positive role in negotiations with the North Koreans in the past. But, you know, both Russia and China here are playing something of a double game. On one hand, they don't want North Korea to have these nuclear and missile programs. On the other hand, they always like an opportunity to try to cut the United States down to size. So just this morning, Russia and China released a statement saying that they're willing to help with the North Korea nuclear program, but that in response, the United States needs to reduce its presence in South Korea, reduce U.S. military exercises, U.S. military hardware, which is really a non-starter. The U.S. has been there since the Korean War to protect our Korean allies. And so we're happy to work with China and Russia on this problem, but they have to put forward serious proposals and not just look to score points against the United States.
All right, we'll continue to watch it. Matthew Kroenig, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.